Welcome back to the Oakley Sports Report. I'm your host, Sean Doherty, and hopefully all of you enjoyed your spring break and are ready to get back into the swing of things and the final push of the spring semester. Just like how the various Bear Cubs spring sports teams are looking to make their final push towards the Big 8 conference playoffs. The last couple of weeks, the weather has not cooperated with many of the outdoor sports, but we'll do our best to get you caught up on everything you need to know about your favorite Bear Cub teams. So let's get this week's show started with one of the hottest teams the JC has going right now, and the Bear Cubs golf team, who back on March 13th had their fourth Big 8 conference tournament in Ripon and took the honors, shooting a .365. Then 2 days later, on the 15th, had the fifth Big 8 conference tournament and shot a .366, once again taking home honors in that tournament. The Bear Cubs golf team has won 8 matches so far this season, and that's 8 out of 11 that they've played in. They've also won the last 3 Big 8 tournaments they've played. Up next is the Big 8 Conference Tournament number 6, and of course, weather permitting, that'll take place in Napa on March 27th. On the tennis court, the women's tennis team have a 9-2 record and are 5-2 in conference play. However, 3 out of their last 4 matches have been rained out. The Bear Cubs did manage to get a match in on Tuesday, March 20th against Folsom Lake here at the JC and rolled to a 9-0 victory. This week, on Tuesday, the match against Modesto was canceled, and on Friday, weather permitting, the Bear Cubs will travel to Sacramento to take on American River. The men's tennis team are 6-5 overall and 5-3 in conference play. The men had their match on March 13th against Diablo Valley rained out, and then on March 16th, their match against Shasta was rained out as well. But on March 20th, took on Folsom Lake here at the JC, and like the women's team, rolled to a 9-0 victory. Then 2 days later, took on Modesto in Modesto, and once again won by a score of 9-0. On March 27th, the match against Chabot has been rained out, and like the women's team, the status for the March 30th match against American River in Sacramento is weather permitting. One sport that hasn't had to worry about the weather has been swimming and diving. And on Friday, March 16th, the women's swimming team lost a tough competition to Sierra here at the JC by a score of 52-55. And then later that day had the alumni match, which the alumni took home the honors. But on March 23rd, the women's team traveled to Sacramento to take on American River and came back victorious with a 53-51 win. The following day, the Bear Cubs took second place in the CSM Invitational. Up next for the Bear Cubs swim and dive team is the American River Spring Pentathlon, which is being held in Sacramento and is an all-day event. The men's swimming team has been on fire all season long, and on March 16th took on Sierra and the alumni here at the JC. The Bear Cubs crushed Sierra by a score of 90-21, and then just went ahead and showed the alumni just how good they were by beating the alumni in a non-scoring match. Then on March 23rd, went to Sacramento, and I had to take a look twice at the score. The Bear Cubs, I couldn't believe what I saw. The Bear Cubs won 107-14. Then the following day, took first place honors in the CSM Invitational. Like the women, up next for the Bear Cubs is the American River Spring Pentathlon on Friday, March 30th. And we want to wish both the men's and women's Bear Cubs swimming and diving team the best of luck in their upcoming match in Sacramento. On the diamond, the women's softball team started out the season red hot, but over the last couple of weeks, that fire has been extinguished a little bit. And it started back on March 17th. When the Bear Cubs had a doubleheader against Delta in Stockton and lost both of those games by the scores of 5-2 and 8-0. Then on March 20th, the Bear Cubs welcomed Modesto into town and lost that game 8-0. Then on March 22nd, Diablo Valley College came in and the Bear Cubs did bring home a victory by the score of 20-4. And on Saturday, the 24th, the doubleheader against Sac City was rained out. It should be made up on the 29th this week. On the 27th, the Bear Cubs travel to Sacramento to take on American River at 3 p.m. And then on Saturday, the Bear Cubs welcome in Cosumnes River for a conference doubleheader. And of course, all the games are weather permitting. On the baseball field, the Bear Cubs have a 13-7 record and are 5-4 in the Big 8 Conference. Starting on March 13th, the Bear Cubs are scheduled to play American River in a 3-game series. However, the games on the 13th and the 14th were rained out, but on the 15th, they were able to travel back to Santa Rosa and play a doubleheader, which the Bear Cubs won both games. The first one by a score of 12-3 and the second 1-0. There was also a game scheduled for that Saturday, the 17th, against American River, but it was also rained out. Last week, the weather cooperated, and on March 20th, the Bear Cubs took on Sac City here at the JC and rolled to an 8-6 victory. The next day, they got in the American River makeup game and won that game 5-2. Then on Thursday and Friday, the Bear Cubs took on Sac City, playing the first game in Sacramento and losing 5-1. Then the Bear Cubs traveled back home and lost a tough one in 12 innings, 3-2. On the schedule this week for the Bear Cubs is 3 in a row against Diablo Valley College. The first game starting on March 27th in Pleasant Hill. Then both teams will travel back to Santa Rosa for a 2:30 game on March 29th, and then wrapping up the series back in Pleasant Hill on Friday. We wish the Bear Cubs the best of luck this upcoming week, and hopefully the weather will cooperate and both the baseball and softball teams can get their games played. In sad news, the Bear Cub family lost a legend 2 weeks ago when Marv Mays passed away at the age of 76. Coach Mays was a legend here at the JC and was elected into the Hall of Fame back in 1993. The staff of the Oakleaf Sports Report would like to send our condolences to his friends and family. On a happier note, to end the show today, we would like to send our congratulations to sophomore Jen Suramoto on being named the Big 8 Conference Women's Basketball MVP. Congratulations, Jen. Well, that's it for this week's show, and thank you for joining me, your host, Sean Doherty, on the Oakleaf Sports Report. And as always, it is my pleasure and honor to be the guy that gets to tell you about your Bear Cubs sports. And as always, go Bear Cubs!